It's a dark and stormy night at sea indeed, but tomorrow our ship should be home, just in time for Christmas. I am excited to find out what Santa will bring, but truth be told, this year I'm even more excited about a small gift I have already received from a most unusual source. You see, I was out amongst the waves, sloshing about in my boots, when I saw a light and I heard a sound, and... oh, forget it. You probably wouldn't believe this old sailor anyway. But it's true, you know. You haven't heard. Nag. Grab your eggnog, mate. Sit down, get comfy, and I'll tell you the truth about Christmas for the fishes and a whale named Wally. 'Twas the night before Christmas. When fish do their snoozing, Wally was still out, cavorting and boozing. Big Wally, they say, had powerful magic, but so lacked in kindness, folks thought him tragic. For as much as Big Wally could light up the sea with his sparkling smile and charmed repartee, well, deeper inside, he felt quite alone, and habitually left those who loved him at home. One Christmas Eve, he served up perhaps the finest example of his moral lapse. While both of his children lay snug in their reeds, with his wife wrapping presents in shiny seaweeds, Wally stood on the bar. He shouted out, "Look at this!" and then tried to sing opera, but vomited ambergris. Nobody laughs when a whale pukes like that. It sticks like a dookie and lays you out flat. It's especially heinous when on Christmas Eve it ruins the vibe. Folks just leave. The sharks, in particular, were irked by the sight of such great potential who wouldn't do right. A little-known fact about sharks, you see, is that while truly they are the most feared in the sea, they also have quite a strong will to do good, and are not known for patience when they think you should. And indeed, on that night, they had hit their limit. "Wally," they said, "ye be changing this minute." They opened their jaws and made several good points, until Wally said, "Sorry," to all in the joint. "Ye be on the right track," they said with a sneer, "but the damage ye've done extends far from here. Not only have ye made a mess of this venue, ye've broken the hearts of those who depend ye. You're going right home, but the path ye be taking is one that ensures no more hearts ye be breaking." They started to swim in Wally's direction, slowly at first, but enough to let set in that if Wally should stray from what sharks were expected, well, this might be his last Christmas Eve for reflecting. They chased Wally out. As they called from behind, "Your first stop is all those to whom ye've been unkind." Well, it turns out this number was millions and change, for whales, you know, have quite a long range. And all along the way he had left in his wake fish disappointed from whom he'd just take. "To each ye must give a wee gift or two that comes from a thought that's not about you." Well, I'm doomed, thought Wally. I may have the speed, but I've nothing worth giving that these fish would need. To tell you the truth, I'm not all that strong. Not sure I've the power to right what I've wronged. I cannot go on. He slowed down his motion, and never it's been so dark in the ocean. The old-timers say even tropical coral suddenly switched to gray from floral. But as the shark swam ever closer to Wally, and he closed his eyes tight, accepting his folly, he started to hear the sweet sound of voices, whispering they loved him in spite of his choices. Ever so quiet, yet ever so clearly, they came from the hearts of those he loved dearly, joined by sobs of genuine fear, and whales, it seems, do have impeccable hearing. "Wally," they said, "if you leave us tonight, the gift of your life will never be right." The sound overcame him. Resolve built within, and in warm waves of love he gained strength in his fins until, wouldn't you know it, with sharks bearing down, the point he'd been missing was finally found. He gave a small wink, then formed a slight smile that shined in a way that it hadn't a while. Then, boom! All the magic he had from the start united at last with a love in his heart. and his smile, it grew until it sparkled like day. It lit up the night and showed him his way. Then off he departed to make his grand rounds to all of the oceans and undersea towns. To each fish in the sea he gave the small present of a word of pure kindness, with a smile luminescent, and felt quite contagious. Love swelled like the tide as fish started feeling what they'd lost inside, then passed on their kindness, no matter how shy, to each fish or urchin who happened to drift by, until the ocean had never felt happier to date. Then Wally swam home, for it was quite late, and the kids were asleep, but a candle still burned where his wife had kept vigil until he returned. "I'm sorry," he said. He pulled her in close. "I've always been taking from those I love most." And she felt in his spirit a new effervescence, a hope that had dimmed now glowed in her presence. As their day finally ended and at last they all slept, they'd wake to a future of promises kept. No, never again would Wally lose sight of the light that he found on Christmas Eve night. And such was the joy Wally felt from his ride every Christmas to come. No more would he hide. He'd wink at the sharks, then make grand rounds of kindness with a smile so bright you could see it through blindness. And as for us lubbers who prefer to stay dry, well, they say if we see Wally's light flashing by, we'll feel a joy as strong as the sea. Maybe that's true. But the comfort for me is being reminded that no matter what trench you're in, well, there's always a chance for Christmas redemption. I also take comfort that those sharks see me as food, well, they also saved Christmas. And for that, they're good. Merry Christmas.